What's good, creative? Sunji from Ceasar Graphics again, and I welcome you to our weekly design review. All right, so I have designs I'm going to be critiquing today here. But before I get to the critiquing of the design, I want to quickly share this with you. Now, I always say to you guys that design should be more about you playing and entertaining your audience. Uh, but I notice most creatives still don't understand this play and the entertaining thing. Now, this play part of design is your work, like what you're supposed to do. Now, when I say what you're supposed to do, I'm referring to moving things around, or you're moving the elements around on your project and make them be on the right position where they will spice the project. And then the entertaining part is you surprising your audience, which is creating something that is unusual, something that people are not used to. And as creatives, I'm going to advise you that you do this with the information that you want to use to draw people's attention to your project. For me, I mostly do this with my title, with my text. People are used to just seeing letters on designs, and they read it, and then they use that to know what the message on the design is talking about. But when you alter the look of the letter a bit, now I'm not saying you should now change the form of the letter, but I'm saying that you should try to use the title to create the illustration for the project. And that's one of the ways that we creatives surprise our audience. Now, it's not compulsory you do this. All right. It's not compulsory you must do this on every of your design project, but I'm just trying to let you guys understand that surprising your audience is part of how you entertain them. All right, so I'm going to get to the designs that I received from the creatives today, and I'm going to share what is working on the design and what is not working on the designs. So this is the first design I'm going to be critiquing today. First, I'll start by saying I like the fact that this design is bright. We can easily see the picture of the minister. We can see the text, all right, the title of the project. I mentioned that we should always find ways to entertain our audience. All right. And I said that your text should be one of the tools that you can use to do that. And I like the fact that this designer tried to, play with the title here. But the way you now play with it here is totally wrong. All right. It's totally wrong. Okay, and why I said it's wrong here is because whenever you make a letter this bold on your projects, all right, you're trying to say that there's a space. All right, it means there's a space between the J and the other letter. That's one. Then the second thing again here that you did not do well with the making the text this bold is when you arrange your letters this way, all right, your message here is you're trying to say this and this is JE, this and this is JS, while in fact this and this is JSS, and this is JU. Okay, and that can get your viewers confused. I'm not against you breaking text, but there's a professional way to do this. When you made the splitting of the word more than 2 lines, you're going to start getting people confused. The maximum row that you can split a word is 2. We do this when we have words with too many letters. But the word Jesus here only have 5 letters. So I see no reason why you need to split the letters. What another thing I like about the project is the fact that the color used on the project is beautiful. How you destroy your composition here is the way you play with your title. There's always a reason why we do this. In fact, there's a reason why we make every move on our design projects. Don't just make any move because okay, I just want to do it. No, there's a reason why you must do it. All right, so I'll go straight to the next design. All right, now I like this design. Why? Because of the color used on the project and also the layout. All right. I like the layout. I like the simplicity of the project. I like the feel, the color feel on the project. Superb. The layout is beautiful. There's enough room for us to see, the information on the project. Just feel this should go up a bit. At least this should go up here a bit, but the project is fine. All right. Yeah. So good job to the designer. And but no, I just noticed something here. Please, when you are cropping your image, please stop using magic wand to crop images on your project. I'm talking of people that use Photoshop here. When you use magic wand to crop your image, you're going to start having these rough edges. You're going to start having these rough edges around your image. All right, please. So avoid it. And if it's not magic wand you use, if it's I'm sure it's magic wand. Magic wand is what normally give these rough corners. So please watch out for it. Every content on your project should look clean and nice. All right. But when you now start having rough cropping of pictures, it's not going to help your project, but the project is still fine. I like the project, just the cropping of the picture that I noticed that the designer did not do well. So I'm going to give this designer a thumbs up, and let's go straight. No, okay. So for those of you that care to know why this is successful, all right. All right. So the first thing is the color. All right. The color. Now, this is not to say you should not use more than one color on your project, but even the using of one color on your project is work at times. Or yeah, it's work at times. But the color used here is not only one color. The designer used analog color harmony. So if you understand the color harmony, you're going to understand the type of color harmony I just mentioned now. And for those of you that want to understand the color harmony, I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel that the title is How to Combine Color. If you go to my channel, you're going to see the tutorial. So I advise you watch it. So here we have red, and on this project we have orange. All right. So these colors are the colors that are next to each other. The value of the orange and the saturation of the orange, the designer played with it well on this project. Here we have the same orange on the subjects. And then we have the same orange here. But what he did here is the saturation of, he desaturated the color of the orange that we have on the subject or the character here. And here we have saturated orange. The use of color on our project too should not be different the way we play with scale on our type. All right. And how we do this on the color part is the changing of the value and also the saturation of the hue. So I believe that that's what really helped this project look successful. So whenever you're using color on your project, see how you can play with the saturation and the value. That's if you're using the same color, see how you can play with the saturation and the value to make the project look successful. All right. There are times where you can use just red all through the project. How to now make the project look cool and calm with the same color is when you now play with the value and the saturation. All right. So let's go straight to our next design here. Yeah, so here, this composition is not successful at all. And why I'm going to say that is this. I've mentioned to you guys several times that whenever you are working on design projects, all right, know that your background is also part of the project. Your background is also what make the project look successful. So your background, again, is what determine the layout of the project. Here I have pictures of kids. We have pictures of kids on the background. I don't expect this designer to still add outline around the title. All right, because these kids here are much, and then also have another look on the title. All right, we have the outline here. We now have another render title here, which I believe is taken away from the message. I'm not against the use of the stroke around the title. All right, it's not like I'm against it, but what I'm trying to let you understand here is that we're beginning to have too much contrast. We're having too much contrast on this project. We have this title with the stroke around the text, and then we now have this render type here. Now, these are two different powerful ways or powerful styles that we use to spice up our projects, to create contrast on our project. But when it's now becoming too much, it's going to make the project look too heavy. And when your project is looking too heavy, it's not going to look successful. It's going to look boring. So here, I don't expect you to have this particular, I don't expect you to do this render effect here on your title. You can always use this style here to create the title. All right. You can use it to create a title, but you now having the render title here is not okay. All right. It's not really helping at all. And then also, I remember when I started graphic design, all right, I always make this mistake of having this all these different colors of gradients around my background. You know, last week I explained to you guys that whenever you're having this type of gradients on your background, all right, the brighter part should not just be there. It should not just, you shouldn't make it useless. It should be used as a tool to push or to project the important information on the project. This lighter part here should be used for projecting important information. Now, it shouldn't now be too much. Like we have it here, we have less value of it here, here. You know, it's not okay. It's not going to help the project. So whenever you're working on design project, avoid using all this type of gradient background. There are several ways you can blend your background to your image. All right. There are several ways you can do it. You can always use the color and fade the color inside the image. Another good way to do this is you can always split the project and place the title in between the splitted line. Another good way you can do this is still the normal traditional way that so many of us are used to. So whenever you're working on design project, see the project like you building a structure, you building a house. Then start arranging your elements in a way that everything is going to look balanced. Here, I noticed that we have thing here is not well aligned. And these are one of the ways that our designs don't always look successful. And then the other thing that I am going to say to this designer is there's also the part of you controlling the eye movements on your project. There are different ways we do this. We do this with color, we do this with scale. I'm talking of making your elements bigger than each other. Whenever you're working on design projects, have that in mind. What is the first thing I want people to see, which is the contrast? Now, your contrast should now look different from every other element on your project, which is closer to what you did here. But the way you now did play with it here is not okay because you are only, your focus is only on this. You did not consider your background. And that is why this is not successful. Then the next thing you now need to work on is, okay, what is the next thing that I want people to see after the title? And then you continue like that till you get to the last part of your project. Now, the information that you make small on your project, please always allow space around it so that people can see it. So I'm going to stop here on this, and I'm going to advise this designer to please go check out my other design review tutorials. I believe watching it is going to help you. It's going to show you some things that you don't know that would, help you become a good designer in terms of how you can arrange your elements on your project. All right. So yeah. So let's go straight to our last design for today. All right. So this is a beautiful project that I like the layout, and I like the controlling of the high movement here. And I like the color used, on the project. Okay. But the part where I am going to quickly say something here is the use of this light here. I mentioned on the last design that when you put this, when you make use of this light part on your project, you are trying to say, I want to place something on that area. If you have dark values, all right, dark value on your background or on your project, and then you now have a lighter area on that project, that lighter part should not just be there. It should be used for something. All right, because that part is where people's focus will first go on your project. Why? Because it's like when you go into a room that is dark and then you now see a very tiny light on one corner of the room. Immediately you get into that room, the first thing that draws your attention is that light part. It's that part where you have that light in the room. And that's the same thing that happened with the way we arrange our elements, or the way we play with the elements on our design project. So I'm a fan of using all these gradient effects, this light effect here, but the way you now did it here is not okay. At least push this in, like push the light in, and let's have this orange faded color fading into our background. I believe that would still be better than us having this white, part here. All right. And then the other thing I'm going to advise this designer to avoid is the making script letters. All right. Handwriting letters cap. Don't make handwriting letters cap. It's not always nice. The beauty of script or handwriting letter is when you make it sentence case, or you make it lowercase. That's when the beauty of the script script font or handwriting font, that's when the beauty shine. But when you make it cap, you are going to hide the beauty of the script or handwriting font. All right. And when you don't make the beauty shine, you are going to destroy your project, because the font is actually designed to be used as lowercase or sentence case. So I would advise you to avoid this, but I like the project. And then also, I don't expect you to use another font here. Use the same font that you have here for the letter F. Don't change it. All right. You've achieved a good project here. It's just, the changing of this font and then using cap on your script type here that I think is not really helping. And lastly, avoid making your content too close to the frame of your project. All right. Avoid it. Avoid making this too close to this. All right. Please push it down. All right. Push it down. And I believe if you do that, it's going to help your project. When you push it down, I believe it's going to help your project. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed today's design review. And if you have not subscribed, guys, please remember to hit the subscribe button, and also remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Share, like, and comment on this video, and also try to always watch my design review videos. I believe it will help you. That's one of the ways I can assist you as a designer. All right. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.